In today's up and down economic times, it's always smart to have a rainy day fund to prepare for unexpected expenses. Colin Evans from Evans Financial Group is here to keep it real with us and tell us that we need to be ready for whatever life throws our way. Isn't that right?
Right, absolutely. That's, something a lot of people don't think about, and then they end up getting kind of caught in a jam and kind of get stuck. We've kind of all heard the a little bit of that rumor. It's like the things that happen in threes, always of what's going to go wrong or go, because I'm personally, I'm in the middle of it now. I just had a home air conditioning thing, and now it's with that storm, I've got a fence ordeal going on. It's like, goodness gracious, how many of those things do you want to take? But keeping in mind what the rainy day funds are for and having those out for an emergency use, that can be something very, very good for us, and keeping that peace of mind that we want.
And how many of those rainy day funds should we actually have, Colin? Are we talking like just one major one as a backup for emergencies, or should we do 2, 3, 4? Walk us through.
It could be a little bit of your comfortability. Mine is just personally is just a savings account. One of the key things is liquidity, because you have to be able to access those funds, and you don't want to have that tied up and say, well, I can't get to it until a surrender, or maybe I've tied it up in this entity, or I put it in the market of some sorts.
Sure.
And keeping that liquidity in mind. Another common thing is, a lot of financial advisors almost across the boards will all agree on, at a minimum, about 6 months worth of your income is what you should be able to put into a savings account. Now, it's a squeeze. It's something you have to take in stride and then keep going and keep working to get there. But you got to plan for, what if there's a layoff? What if like the storms that we just had recently, we got to pay maybe some insurance deductibles or out-of-pocket expenses for trees removed that didn't hit, may not have hit the house, or they're in the yard somewhere. I know my folks had one in theirs. That was a $3,500 pop, just like that. And, that can hurt the budget just a little bit. As we all agree as advisors, 6 months is a good one. For me personally, I highly suggest, if you can do it, up to 12 months, because we never know when economic conditions are going to change. Like when we had COVID instances and things of that nature, how long can somebody, afford to live, and how long can somebody go for? With being able to pay those house note, a car note, keep the same there. Again, we have to keep that flip side for liquidity. Some of the highest recommended things that we have are going to be savings accounts at your local bank, or even a money market account. Might have a little bit higher interest rate than your savings account. It's really not about interest rates at that point and how much you're earning. It's just how much that you have, as this is like a little nest egg. This is a reserve. So when these things arise, I'm not stressed. I'm not making irrational decisions or
taking out some of those bad loans.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Rates.
Like the payday type loan places and things like that. I've seen many instances where couples or families have actually gotten caught up in that, and it just becomes a fight to get out of, almost from underneath that. When something happened with the car, the alternator went out, or I needed to get the new radiator, the AC's on the fritz at home, or things along those lines. How do we do that? And that's, simply put, let's put this funds back into a rainy day, and it can be done. It's not going to happen at once. You can't just say, oh, I got 6 months salary. Well, we'll just move it from one account to another. This could be partitioned over a period of time, and just something slowly that you work for.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Colin, for being here today and talking to us about the importance of a rainy day and how incredibly important it is to do now, right? So, because we should be implementing this right now.
Absolutely.
If we don't have one already.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me.
Absolutely.